Okay. So if you see, so we have multiple columns available, but we do not want to use all the columns. Okay. So what do we have here? If you see billing, the insurance claimed, payment status. Okay. There are multiple columns available, but we do not want to have the multiple columns, but we want to select a specific column. Okay. Select specific columns. Select specific columns. Let me click on enter. Now let me click on the code. So here what do we do? So let me write specific column. Okay. So if you want to enter the specific column, okay. So in other programming language, basically in the SQL, what do we do? There is no need of worrying about it. Whatever the columns that we need, what do we do? So instead of select the star from the table name, okay, table name, or we can select the columns, column 1, column 2, column 3, column 4 from table. Okay, this is the way we write it in the SQL. But here it is little different. Okay, so what do we need to use here? So we need to use, okay, now you see it is automatically selected. It understood, okay, it automatically gave percentage SQL. So what do we need to do here? We need to import, okay, we need to import the call, okay, the function call. So as we discussed in the earlier session, in the previous session, now you see we are automatically getting the from PySpark.SQL.functions import to call. Let me click on the tab. Okay. So whatever the libraries or whatever the functions that it is not built in. Okay. We need to call the functions. Okay. So that's how it works. So whatever we need to call those functions. Okay. So what do we need? Select the specific columns. Okay. Select the specific columns. So let me go for df underscore admission. Okay, df underscore admission. So what do we need to do if you want to select the columns? We have a function called as select. Okay, select, open the bracket. Okay, select, open the bracket. So let me write admission ID. Automatically we are getting the number of columns. And let me go for taking the patient ID. Okay, we are getting the suggestions. Let me click on the tab, comma. And after that, let me go for taking the department. Out of all the columns, I want to select only few columns. And after that, let me go for selecting the status. So here, let me directly write, instead of writing again and again the next line df underscore adm dot show. So here, let me directly go for writing show 5 columns, 5 records only. Let me click on enter. Okay. So what we are getting adm. df underscore adm is not defined. Okay. Let me go here. So maybe when we opened it, it did not understand. So here, what do we do? ADM, let me click on run the cell. Okay, because we opened it today, so there is no continuation. It is like turning off the server. Okay, what do we need to do? So we need to load that again. Remember that. Okay, now let me click on the run. Yes, it is running. Now, if you see, we got admission ID, patient ID, department. So how do we select the columns? So we can select it by using the function called as a select. Okay, df underscore adm dot select the number of columns that we need to do. And if you want to directly see the data, we can directly put dot show. So 5 represents the top 5 records. It doesn't mean that it is going to sort ascending order or descending order. It gives the top 5 records. Okay, don't worry about the sorting of the data. It does not give something like that. So it gives the output. That's it. Okay, so so the next thing is that, for example, we want to go for giving the alias naming. Okay, alias naming. Alias naming. Okay, so what is that alias naming? Don Sino alias Dubai Sino, something like that. Okay, so what do we do if you want to go for aliasing the data? So we can't directly use, okay, in SQL, what do? We use AS. Okay, so we can go for giving the count as the number, for example. Okay, count as numbers or visitors. So we go for using AS for aliasing the data, aliasing the column name. But here it is different. Okay, here what do? We go for giving the function alias. Okay, so how do we do that? Df underscore, let me go for writing df underscore, okay, ADM dot select, okay, dot select. So here what do? We can directly go for calling call, okay, call admission ID, okay, admission ID. And what do? Dot admission ID dot alias, okay, alias, open the bracket. Now enter the new name, okay, now enter the new name. So let me enter admission number, admission underscore number, okay, and the next one, comma. So let me click on enter. So here what do? So let me enter the call and patient ID as, okay, or hospital name as hospital, for example. Let me just go for hospital name. So here let me click on tab, enter the com dot alias, okay, open the bracket. So let me enter hospital, just a hospital, hospital, and again comma, enter call, open the bracket, treatment cost underscore INR. Okay, let me go for taking treatment cost underscore INR dot alias. Just we can go for writing treatment cost or cost, okay, cost underscore INR. And what do we need to do? Close the bracket, dot show. Okay, let us also go for giving the only first 5 records. Now, if you see, we have admission ID, patient ID, department status. Let me click on execute. Now, if you see, so we got admission number, hospital, and cost INR. And both of them are, and we are trying to run both. So that is the reason we are getting both. So if we do not run this, if we do not keep this show, we will not be able to see this first data, first output. So this is about the selecting the specific column and also giving the alias name. Okay, so what do we use? We use the function called as alias. And for selecting the column, we use select function. And we specifically mention the column. Okay, we specifically mention the column. Now let us go for the next thing. Okay, now let us go for the next thing, filtration of the data. Okay, filter in the data. So let me go for coding. Let me click on code. So here let me write filter. So that why do we need to write this? So because when I go to the right side, I can get the suggestions. Okay, if you see, so whichever the cell I want to go, I named it. Okay, if I want to see the sample data, I can click on it. Now you see, I redirected towards the sample data. And when I hover over it, and when I go click on the filter, yes, I come to the cell wherever I want to see. So this is. So how do we filter the data? For example, let us go for filtering the critical patients. Okay, filtering the critical patients. For example, let me go for, so what do we have? Let me see only the admission. So what do I do here? Dot show. Dot show. And let's see what kind of a data do we have. Let's see. So here if I go, what do we have? We have admission. So we are not able to see the, okay, let me take this off. So status admitted. Let me scroll down by clicking on this, admitted, in treated, discharge, okay, critical, in treatment, critical. So what do we do now? So let us filter for critical, only critical. I want to see the data only critical. So in order to do that, okay, in order to do that, we have a function called as, we use a function, filter function. Okay, we use a function df underscore critical equal to, so what do? Df underscore ADM dot filter, okay, open the bracket. So we mention the column, call, what is that? Status, okay, status equal to. So what do we do in general? In other programming language, we just go for writing equal to and we enter critical. But here it is not like that. So if you want to enter equal to, so we need to enter the double equals. Actually, in other programming language, double equal is meant for strict equal. Okay, strict equal means, okay, equal to means it should also match. Okay, it should also match the decimals, decimal points. Okay, 0.22, yes, it should match 0.22. But here it is what? So we need to enter double equal to. Okay, but why double equal to? Because x equal to 10, which means 10, x is holding the 10. But here if you take status equal to just single equal to critical, means status is holding the critical text, critical variable. So that is the reason we do not go for single equal to. We go for double equal to. Okay, now let me click on df underscore critical and show. Okay, let me click on run the cell. Okay, did we get? Let me check. Or let us go for taking only 3 records. And let me also go for taking. So if you want to see the number of count, okay, df underscore critical dot, or we can also go for writing like print the number or the count, critical patients or critical admissions. Critical admissions. Okay, so what do? We go for comma. So here what do we write? df underscore critical dot count. Simple, straightforward. df underscore critical. Let me click on the tab and let me click on the run. So we get the count of critical patients. The critical admissions are 10, and we also got the number of records. Okay, the status is 10. The status is critical. So this is how we filter the data. So you might have got one more question. So if you want to filter multiple columns, okay, filter multiple columns. Let's see that. Let's see. Filter multiple. Filter multiple list. Okay, multiple list or variables. So let me write variables. So I want to see critical and, okay, critical emergency. Okay, so if you want to go for the multiple, so we can also go for what do you say, using the AND condition. We know, if you remember, so we have two operators. Okay, logical operator. Okay, logical operator. In the logical operator, what do we have? We have AND condition, OR condition. So what is AND condition? Okay, if two statements are, okay, if two statements are true, okay, then output is true. Then output is true. Else everything is false. Okay, everything is false. Everything is false. This is AND condition. If you remember, when in our college days, we used to read, okay, now you see it automatically giving OR condition. If one statement is true, then output is true. Everything is else false. But let me define it in another way. So if you remember true, true, okay, the output is true. Now you see true, false. Oh, I'm sorry. So now output is true. Oh, let me click on the tab. Oh, yes, now you see. So what is this? I'm really mesmerized to get such kind of a, what do you say, the suggestions. So if you see here, true, true, if two statements are true, remember, AND condition, one of the most used logical operators in every programming languages. Okay, AND condition, what is AND condition? If two statements, if two conditions are true, the output is true. One of the condition is false, then the output is false. Simple to remember. Okay, so this is AND operator. Next we have OR operator. What is OR operator? If two statements are false, then output is false. Then output is false. Okay, else true. So I can simply say any one of the statement is true, then it is true. Let me click on the tab. Okay, so what is this? True if you see these three, okay, so true, true, it is true, true, false, true, true, except false, false is a false. Okay, these two logical operators are mainly used to filter the data. So what do? We mainly use it to filter the data. Okay, so we mainly used for filtering the data. So based on the conditions, any condition that we want to go for checking the data, so we go for it. Logical operator, comparison operator, arithmetic operator. Okay, so we have all these. So let me go for the next thing, code. So here let me go for using the filtering the data. Okay, filter emergency and critical. Emergency and critical both, or emergency critical. Critical. So what does it mean? I want to see the data which has emergency also critical. Okay, emergency also critical. So here let me write df underscore. So df underscore high risk, for example, because critical and emergency both of them are high risk. High risk equal to, so df underscore adm dot filter. Okay, adm dot filter. So here what do we do? So let me go for opening the bracket, call status, call, open the bracket, status, status, okay, equal to. So what do? We write critical, critical. And after that, what do? We go for writing the and condition, ampersand symbol, open the bracket, call, okay, admission type, admission type, okay, equal to emergency, okay, equal to emergency. Let me click on the tab. Let's see what we are going to get. Okay, so what we are trying to do, we are trying to filter. Okay, that is the reason we were not able to get the suggestions. What we are trying to do here, okay, we are trying to filter the data. First thing, we use the filter condition, the status equal to critical. Okay, the first condition, admission type equal to emergency. When both of them are true, okay, if these two conditions are true, we are going to get the output. Yes, we have the status equal to the data, critical, and also we have the admission type as a emergency, then we get the output. If both of them do not have, if there is no status critical and no admission type emergency, we will not be able to get the output. So let me click on run the cell. And let's see whether we are able to get it or not. Okay, let me take this off. Okay, dot show. Okay, we already have it. So let me take this off and let me click on the run. Let's see whether we are able to get it or not. Okay, so this error might be caused by the Python error. Okay, let me take this off. Okay, the last execution is failed. df underscore high critical. Okay, filter call. So what are we doing here? Enable type checking in the developer. Attribute not supported. Status equal to critical. Okay, let me only run this. Okay, df underscore admission dot filter. So whether we have it, df underscore admission. Yes, we have it. So let me copy this. Okay, so df underscore, okay, call. Okay, so what we are trying to do, okay, it should be mentioned in the complete, what is that? In the braces. Okay, so we opened the bracket for this critical. Okay, this bracket is meant for critical. This bracket is meant for emergency. But what about the filter? Let me close, let me open and the close the brackets. Let me click on execute. Yes, now we got it. Okay, do not panic when we get the errors. Okay, what do we need to do? We need to understand whether we are opening and closing the brackets or not. Okay, so what we are trying to do? So we are trying to see the status equal to critical and admission type equal to emergency. So let me come down. And if you see, admission type is emergency and the status is critical. For example, if I go for writing any other, admission type is not equal to emergency or status is not equal to is something else. In critical, if I go for writing anything, okay. So what do I do? So what do we have? Admission type planned, for example. So here let me write planned and let me click on execute. Okay. Yes, we got planned and critical. Okay. We are also able to see planned and critical. For example, if I do not go for planned, or if I see admitted in treatment, okay, in treatment, let me take the status as in treatment because I want to show one of the condition is false. Okay, one of the condition is false in treatment and call. Okay, we also have planned in treatment. Oh, why are we getting this? And condition, let me write. Okay, now we do not have and condition. So we only have the ampersand symbol. So let me click on execute. So we are getting admission type, status in treatment. Okay, status is in treatment and admission type is planned. Yes, we are able to see that. Okay. So if two of the conditions, if any one of the condition is false, then we will not be getting the output. So that is the simple and straightforward condition. So this is for filtering the two variables or list of variables in here. But the thing is that you would ask, okay, you would ask me if you want to go for filtering multiple variables. Okay, filtering multiple variables. So how do we do that? Okay, filtering multiple variables. How do we do that? Okay, so what is that filtering multiple variables? List of variables should be filters. Okay, list of variables should be filtered. What does it mean? Okay, so in SQL, what do we do? For example, if I want to filter, there are many countries. Countries equal to 20 countries. But I do not want to see the complete data of country. I want to see only few countries: USA, UK, okay, Germany. Only 3 countries of data, for example. Okay, only 3 countries data. But always I cannot use the or condition and see the data. Okay, always I do not want to see the or condition. For example, let us go for filtering the data for something like this. Okay, so let us go for writing the department. Okay, let me take the department. Where is the department? Admission department. So let me take this dot show. Okay, dot show, and let's see whether we have it admission or not. In the admission, whether we have the department or not. So admission ID department. Yes, we have the department. Okay, I want to see the cardiology and pediatrics. Okay, pediatrics and neurology. Generally, what do? We go for it in another way, filtering the data in another way. So what do? Let me copy this. Okay, let me copy this. For saving some time, let me copy this. So what is the thing that we are taking? Department. Let me copy the department. What we are trying to do here, we are trying to filter the data department equal to, okay, where is that? Okay, let me check. Let me scroll up. Okay, so let me go for department equal to cardiology. Okay, cardiology. Yes, cardiology. Let us go for some other nephrology or gastroenterology. Okay, here let me copy here. Okay, so in place of, if you want to see both the data, so what do? We go for or condition. Okay, or condition. And also if I want to go for filtering another one, what do? I will go for, okay, I will go for call. In the department, what do? nephrology. Let me also go for filtering the data for nephrology. And let me click on dot show. Directly, I do not want to write again and again. So let me go for clicking on dot show. Already we are trying to filter the data, but I do not want to give any value over here. Okay. The column object is not callable. Why? Department nephrology. Okay, maybe it is not. Okay, let me click on execute. So that may be due to the indentation. Okay, that is maybe due to the indentation. So what do I do? So let me go for taking. Okay, we missed it. Okay, one thing we missed is or condition. Okay, or condition. If you want to go for the next line, let me go for giving that. Okay, now we are able to see the data. So what we are able to see only cardiology, gastroenterology, and nephrology. Let me come down. Okay, so we are able to see these three filters. But if you want to go for more than three, more than four, or list of the data, so how do we deal with it? Okay, so we deal by using isin, direct to straightforward. Okay, so whether it is in or not, we generally use the terminology in our day-to-day life is in. Okay, so what do we do here? We directly go for writing. Okay, let me copy this. Let me copy this till here department. Okay, department dot isin. Okay, so what do we do? Dot isin. Okay, isin. Open the bracket. Okay, what do we do? So here, let me go for taking copy this cardiology. I would like to go for taking the cardiology. After that, comma. So let me go for taking gastroenterology, nephrology. Yes, let me click on the tab. Okay, let me click on the show. And let me click on run. Let's see whether we get the output or not. So we are not getting the output. Unterminated string literal detached in the line 1. Okay, we are getting one error. What is that error? Let us see that. Okay, so what we have got, we used to filter. This is the first one. Okay, now if you see here, we got one. Let me click on just one. Yes, now let me click on enter. So single quote is repeated twice. So that is the reason we got it. Now you see how simple it is. So what do we do in general in other programming language? If you take in the SQL, so we use quote. Okay, we write something. Okay, column 1, comma, column 2, comma, column 3 in SQL. Okay, for example, if you go for Power BI, so what do we use? We use flower bracket. Okay, column 1, column 2, column 3. Okay, column 1, column 2, column 3. Okay, it is giving in a dictionary, but column 1, column 2, column 3. So here what do we use? We use direct straightforward. What we are saying, what did you understand from here? Okay, simple straightforward. Filter department. If the department is in cardiology, gastroenterology, nephrology, show me the data. Okay, show me the data. Okay, this is about the filtering the data by using isin function. Okay, isin function. So let us go for the next step is, okay, let me click on this. For example, we want to use something like, okay, I do not know the complete text. Okay, don't know the complete text, but I want to filter the data. I want to filter the data. Okay, for example, okay, yeah, based on the partial name. Yes, it is giving based on the partial name. So what do we do? In SQL, we use the pattern matching. Okay, pattern matching. What is that pattern matching? By using the like operator. Okay, here what do we use? We use a function called as contains. Okay, contains. What is that contains? Let us see that. Okay, for example, I would like to go for seeing the data only has, okay, I want to see the data which has the Apollo, okay, Apollo hospital only. Okay, Apollo hospital. but I do not know whether it is Apollo Hospital or Apollo something else. But what do? I will directly go for df underscore Apollo, df underscore Apollo. So what do I do? Equal to, so df dot, okay, df underscore adm dot filter, okay, filter, open the bracket, okay, open the bracket. So what do we need to mention? The column name we need to mention. Column hospital name, hospital name, okay, hos, okay, hospital name, okay, dot contains, okay, dot contains. So here let me enter the starting text or ending text, okay. So let me go for Apollo, Apollo, okay, dot show, okay, dot show 5, or let me go for the same thing, dot show, and let's see whether we get it or not. Yes, now you see. So we got the data which is filtered for Apollo multi-speciality hospital, but we are not able to see it. So in order to see the complete data, truncate equal to false, okay, truncate equal to false, false, and let me click on enter, run the cell. Now you see we got the complete data, Apollo multi-speciality hospital. Now let me click on the code. Okay, let me click on the code. So now what is the next thing? The next thing is that comparison operator. Comparison operator. So how do we compare the data? So if you see, so there are many multiple in any programming language that we take, there are many operators, arithmetic operator, comparison operator, logical operator, so text operators and all. So here the comparison operator is like less than, greater than, less than equal to, greater than or equal to, or not equal to. So we can go for less than, greater than, it is like a not equal to, or we can also go for exclamation equal to is also not equal to. Okay, so these are all the operators. Okay, and double equal to is also the operators. So what do we need to do? Let us go for implementing. So if we can go for filtering the data for, okay, filter the data for treatment, okay, treatment greater than 50,000. Okay, so let us filter the data. So the treatment cost which is greater than, let us see the columns, let us see the admissions, or let us see the hospitals which has more than that, okay, more than 50,000. So let me go for entering. Always remember, first we need to go for having the data frame. Okay, so this is the goodness of, you see, df underscore expensive. Okay, now it understood. Okay, the treatment greater than 50,000, it understood what we want, what we are expecting. Okay, so what do I do? So let me go for writing df underscore adm. I'm just ignoring that. If you want to filter the data, we directly use the function called as a filter function. Open the bracket, we give the column name. Okay, open the bracket. So what do? We go for treatment. Okay, click on the tab. So come out of the bracket greater than 50,000. Okay, greater than 50,000. And now we have got the data. So why do we need to use column? Okay, so previously, why can't we use normal just treatment greater than 50,000? But why do we want to use the column only? So when we go for rounding the data, okay, if I go for rounding, same thing, treatment equal to INR. So this treatment is not treated as, okay, this column will not be treated. If you do not use call, so we are trying to explicitly saying to PySpark, okay, treat this as a column. It's not a normal text. Okay, it is not a string data type. Okay, string. So it is a column. We are explicitly saying to the PySpark that treatment cost underscore INR is a column. Do not treat it as a general text. Okay, do not treat it as a general text. So that is the reason we will use column. Now what do? So let us go for writing the print. Open the bracket. So let me write high cost admission. Okay, high cost admission. So what we can do? We can go for taking comma. So df underscore expensive. Okay, df underscore expensive. We can go for the count. Okay, we can go for count. And what do we do now? Next thing. So we do not want to see all the columns. So if I go for df underscore expensive show, okay, df underscore expensive show. So if I click on this, and let me open the bracket and close the bracket. Now if I click on this, so we will get all the columns. Okay, now if you see, the name call is not defined. Okay, the name call is not defined. Every time when we go for using any functions, okay, what do we need to do? We need to define that, okay, or we need to import the data, import the functions. So here let me click on enter. So what is that? Import. Okay, import, sorry, from PySpark, from PySpark, okay, from PySpark dot SQL dot functions, okay, SQL dot functions. Let me click on tab, import call. So whereas when we go for pandas, numpy, or in the data science, if you want to import the libraries, what do we do? Import pandas as PD, okay, or what do we do next thing? Import numpy, okay, numpy as NP. So we directly do like this, import. There is no something like from or something like that. But here what do we do? We explicitly mention that I want this, okay, from PySpark.SQL.function in this functions. So there will be a lot of functions available. Okay, so what do we need to do? Whatever we need to import that. That's it. So now let me click on run the cell. Okay, now let's see what we are going to get. So we got something like the value 1021.43 of the type string cannot be cast to big int. Okay, so we are getting error stating that it cannot be casted to the integer. Okay, so what do? We need to cast it. Okay, we need to go for casting. So what do I do? Instead of taking a double quotes, let me go for taking a single quote and let me click on execute. Okay, still we are getting the same thing, df underscore filter 50,000. Okay. Uh, so let me click on, where is that? Genie. Okay. Whether we get casting. So what do? We try comparing, we try casting, typecast. So let's see what it is going to give us. Don't worry about the syntax. We can directly go for syntax. Okay, we can directly ask the Genie. Now, if you see, we got it. Okay, so let me go for, okay, let me click on accept. Okay, let me click on accept. Filter call treatment greater than, okay, display df underscore. Let me click on this. Let's see what we are going to get. So the value 1024 of the string cannot be casted to begin. Okay, I think, yes, we did one mistake. Okay. So this is what we are dealing with. We are dealing with the admission. Okay. So when we go to admission, okay, I don't know whether how many of you have identified or not. So in the schema definition, okay, what we did, so we made this admission. Where is that? Treatment cost to double integer, double type, okay, decimal. What we are trying to do over there? So we are trying to greater than 50,000. So when we are doing that, we are getting error. So now let me click on run. Okay, so that, okay, yes, it read. Now what happened? Now the treatment has become the decimal point. Now let me go down, okay, to the last cell, and now let me click on run the cell. Let's see whether we get the output or not. Now you see we got the output. Okay, so do not panic when we get the output or when we get the error. So what do we need to do? We need to think, okay, why this? Why did we get the error? Okay, we need to understand. So we got error like typecasting. Okay, the string cannot be converted to the big int. Okay, integer string is the text data type is not able to convert it into the number data type. So this is what the error that we got. In the interview also we get some questions based on the errors. What kind of issues did you face while working on the PySpark? Okay, you can explain this. So now we got Now we have compared the data, but we do not want to see all the columns. So what do? I will go for writing only specific columns. Okay. So what do? Dot. Okay. If I want to select the specific columns, what do we do? Select, open the bracket. Now we can select the columns that we need. Okay. Let me have the admission ID, comma. So admission ID, hospital name, comma. So we can go for department, comma, and the status. Now at the end, let me go for show. I do not want to see all the columns, all the records. There are 20 or 30 records. Let me go for expecting only 5 records. And let me click on OK. Yes, now you see we got admission ID, all the data. Okay, we got, if you see, these are all the hospitals and these are all the department. These are all the status that we are getting more than. I mean, we are not able to see, the main thing is that treatment cost is not able to see. So what do? I'll go for treatment cost so that we get to know, okay, this is what the number. Yes, now you see more than 50,000. So this is, and also if you want to go for the less than also, we can also get less than. Okay, so we will get the result of less than 50,000 rupees. Okay, now you see we got less than 50,000, and also we can go for less than or equal to. When we have a specific, okay, we will also get less than or equal to. So this is how the comparison operator works.